Yeah, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Foundry Virtual Tabletop version 12 from the ground up. I need to come up with a shorter name, but that's okay. So in our last episode, we went deep into lighting and talked about all the different options for lighting. Really quick, you might notice my voice is not normal, and that's because I am fighting a nasty cold right now. So I want to just ahead of time apologize if I sniff on while I'm recording. Sorry. Or sneeze. I'll try and stop myself from sniffing, and if I feel a sneeze coming on, I'll mute it or something just so I don't have to blow your ears out with the loud sound or turn my head or something. I'll try. I'll do my best. As also, always, I want to promote Molten Hosting. They are awesome. I've really enjoyed them, and I'm not really sponsored by them, but, you know, I feel like giving credit where credit's due is a big thing. And I've had issues in the past with some of their hosting. I contacted the customer support, and within an hour I was back up and running perfectly. So a great service. Like I said, they're not really a sponsor of the video, but I really enjoy them, and I want to share that with everyone else. So in this episode, we're going to look at sounds. One other disclaimer with that is I've set my recording software to actually also record the system sounds. Normally I have that off because I don't want to, have Discord notifications or other notifications my computer does pop up in the game or in the recording. And as you can see, I'm kind of scatterbrained as well. I blame it on the cold. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump in and talk about sounds. So we're going to kind of go a little bit backwards, because back when we were doing doors, I was talking about door sounds, but I didn't have it recording my sound at the time, so I said we'll look at that a little later. We're going to do that really quick. So one thing about doors is, I believe in version 12, and I think that's the first time it did it, is doors don't actually have a sound attached to them as a default. If we go into the door here and click on its little thing and go in, you'll see here that it says it's a door, the current state is closed, but you'll notice we don't actually have any sound attached to it. This is hopefully where you'll be able to hear something. So if we come down here and I guess I need to move this down so you can see all of them. But here you can see we have futuristic fast, futuristic hydraulic, futuristic force field, industrial creaky, gel, magical door, magical wall, metal, sliding modern, sliding wood, stone rocky, stone sandy, wood basic, wood creaky, and wood heavy. And we're just going to quickly go down these, and like I said, hopefully they'll record on this. I don't know if I'll be able to actually see until the very end, but we're going to pretend that they work. But when we're doing the actual sounds, that's going to be a little bad if it doesn't actually do the sounds. But we'll still go over everything just in case. So let's go ahead and start with futuristic fast, and we can do a quick preview. I'm going to move it back up here just because it's easier for me to see and stuff. But hopefully this works. Hopefully that wasn't too loud, but it kind of was a shoo kind of sound. Let's do the next one, futuristic hydraulic. And then we have futuristic force field. I'm not seeing actual sound down there, but it might not be loud enough or something. I don't know. Industrial. We have industrial creaky. A little rain in there. Gel cell door. That didn't sound quiet. I was expecting more like the or something like that. I'm not very good at sounds. Magical door. We have magical wall. We have a metal door. We have sliding metal. We have sliding modern. We have sliding wood. We have stone. That actually sounded like sliding stone. Although I guess there isn't a sliding stone. Stone rocky. So maybe this will have a grinding sound. Definitely. Stone sandy. Wood basic. So I think this is the default door. That is absolutely the basic door. Wood creaky. And then wood heavy. So anyway, we can choose all the different sounds. Oops, I keep clicking it. I was just going to do the basic one. Now, I believe when they're locked, so we have a door down here at the bottom. Whoops. I'm in the wrong layer. Down here we have a door that's locked, and if someone tries opening a locked door, they should get a sound that like it's just jammed. Hopefully you can hear that. Like I said, I can't see it in my thing, so I might actually try and stop the recording because I don't want to go all the way into the sounds and find out it did not record any sound. That would be really bad since this is the focus of the sound. So anyway, those are, and you'll see this one doesn't have any sound attached to it. This one, because it's locked, automatically has the locked sound. And now this will have, did I not, hold on. I thought I hit save, but maybe I didn't. I did not hit save. So update, there we go. Now if we come in here, you'll see the now there's another reason I wanted to actually do the doors, make sure you understood the doors, is with the audio that actually just goes on when you set up sound objects. They've now made it so like if a door is shut, it actually will muffle the sound. Like if the sound is right here and it goes 30 feet to say right here-ish, if the door's shut, it will muffle the sound as you get closer to the door. And then when you open the door, you'll just be blasted with it, which is kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here and just make sure that we actually got audio of the doors and stuff. Because, like I said, if we get into the sounds and I don't have actual sound, it's going to be a little harder to explain. So I will see you guys in a minute. Okay, I'm glad. It seemed to have worked properly. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about sounds now. Sounds are actually pretty simple. There's not going to be a whole lot to do with it, but I just wanted to show you kind of the default settings and stuff and maybe kind of go over those. And then I'll kind of demo it with our person here being outside the door, show you the muffling and all that fun stuff. So if we have the little speakers here, this means when I mouse over an area of sound, it'll actually act as if I was kind of a person. As you can see here, it says, when active, hover your cursor over an ambient sound to hear it as if your token were in that position. So that's kind of a nice thing. Once again, we also have our clear sounds. Be careful with that, because if you have lots of sounds on a map, you know, waterfall in one area, and then all kinds of other, if you hit clear sounds, it will clear all of them. So let's go ahead and click on our sound here. So just like the lighting, when you place a sound, it draws a little speaker icon, and then it lets you drag to see how far that sound's going. Now you'll see our tree here is actually blocking some of that sound because we had it set to sound, and you'll see our walls are definitely blocking that sound. So we're going to go in here, and once you let go, you'll get the little window here showing you what the sound is. So first thing you want to do is set up what the sound is, because it's not going to know that off all by itself. So we come in here, click on this under my assets here, under audio, I have, I think I had sounds, tavern ambient, right? So we can click on that, and this is just kind of sounds of people in a tavern. Now, just like other ones, we have our elevation, we have our radius. So as you can see, right now it's 48. Maybe we wanted to change it to 60. You know, it's a nice big sound. I hit enter. Didn't mean to hit enter there. Then we have the actual coordinates of the token or icon, the sound object itself. The next thing down here we have is the maximum volume. So when you enter this sound, the default, if you don't have volume easing on, then the moment you enter sound, you will actually hear that sound. If you have volume easing on, then it will actually kind of go from 0 up to 1 until you hit that spot. Right now you can see maximum volume is half, so when I get right on top of the sound, if volume easing were on, it would actually then be at half sound or half volume instead of full volume. If I wanted to make sure that it was all the way up, then we could do that. I'm going to leave it right there for now, and I'm going to click off real quick and see if we do this, because I've never actually done this part. So oh, look at that, it does work. That is cool. So here you can see we're not getting much sound at all. As we move in, now you have a little bit of sound. It's not super loud. Getting a little louder. And as we move closer and closer to 50%, so you can tell this is actually a really loud sound. If we change this, say, to 25%, now you can barely hear it. I might have to update ambient on that, though, too. I think so, because now this is kind of like it was sounding when we were back there. But as you can see, we get closer and closer, and it gets louder and louder. So there's that. Let's go ahead and turn that off for a moment. So those are your volumes. And the volume easing means the closer you get to the actual object of the sound itself, the louder it will get, but it'll only get as loud as you set it here. Then we also have the way it's activated. So we can make it so the sound is temporarily hidden, like this. The other way that we can actually do this, so if I click on that, you'll see when I update, it turns red. And this means this is no longer, if I mouse over it or whatever, we're not getting anything. You can do this manually without having to go into the sound by simply right-clicking on it. So you can see that it goes from muted to full volume. So that is what that's talking about right there, is the hidden or muting it or disabling it. If we want it constrained by walls, so if we move this sound, I think I have to update it. It has issues if you try and move things. So right now you can see the walls here are actually set to block sound. So if we come in here and look at this, you'll see that sound restriction is normal. If we click on our sound here and we say that, where was that? Constrained by walls. If we turn that off, then once we open up these walls, or say these sounds are not forced being blocked by walls, they'll be able to go. So this is going to say, is it going to be constrained? And I also believe what this is talking about is the muffling, and that might also be in the next area, but this is kind of a new thing. We also have darkness level. So as we did with lights, and we had different lights turning on at different darkness levels as it transitioned from bright to dark, we can do the same thing. So, you know, during the day, the tavern doesn't have much. I might have one audio that goes off, and then have a second audio that goes off as it gets dark because now more people are there, or something like that. Then under here we have our special effects, and this is where we can, you know, change these sounds to, you know, have the muffled effect. We can add bass, we can do the low pass filter, high pass filter, reverb. I recommend just playing with these and seeing what you like. And there went a Discord notification that you'll probably hear. And then you have the muffled effect. Is it going to go through the low pass, high pass reverb? And then here we have a slider. If we choose one of these, it enables the slider. And then we also have the intensity right here. Well, oh, actually, no, sorry, that's the muffled effects intensity. It's just the next line over. And then after that, you basically have your whole thing. So if we come in here now, I'm going to move the sound. As you can see, oh, there we go. Actually, it is ignoring the walls. I was wondering. Sometimes you have to click the update and execute it to actually have it do it right. So the reason we're hearing this sound right now is because in our player view, we're in range of that sound. If I move away, you'll see it's getting softer and softer and softer because it's not constrained by walls. Let's go back to here. So if we go turn it back to constrained by walls, you'll see it will. That's why we didn't have this set, but that's why we're still hearing it because I have the other instance open. So if I go ahead and say constrained by walls and then hit update, now you'll see we're not hearing it in the other one anymore. All right, so let's go ahead and play with. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna move our Joseph token. We're gonna move. Oh, whoops. We're gonna create a new sound on top of Joseph. We're gonna move to the actor layer. We're gonna move Joseph outside, where it's nice and loud for you now. We're gonna take our sound and we're just gonna put it inside the building. And now you'll see that Joseph is not hearing anything as far as the sound goes because our walls are blocking it. Now, if I were to set a single wall, like this one right here, and say that it is not blocking sound, and just say none. Now, if we go look at the sound, you'll see it's just going through that wall. So we can do a blanket, ignore walls, or we can do it in our walls itself and say, you know, I want this sound to be able to go through this wall, but not other walls. So we'll go ahead and turn this back to normal, just so not proximity, to normal. There we go. And there we go. All right, so now if we go set our sound to have a muffled effect, so click on here. Do I have to? I think I have to have the bass effect before I can have the muffled. Actually, I'm not sure why it's not showing me the muffled. We had it a minute ago. Why does everything have to be difficult? All right, let's see. Is it because it's, I don't think it's constrained by walls. Actually, it is exactly because it's constrained by walls. Because now it's available. I'm configure whether an area effect of this audio source is constrained by nearby walls. Oh. Huh. That's actually interesting. Let's just try this. Maybe it's the bass effect that will also do it. Because if I turn it off constrained by walls, but then turn on muffled, this is an experiment for all of us. So I want it constrained by walls so the sound doesn't get out. But I'm wondering if this will apply an audio effect to sound which filters transforms the sound. So if I get near, like if I do low pass filter and then go get on Joseph here. There goes his sense. He's got his tremor sense going. I might have to experiment with this one because I've never actually played very much with the muffled. I just have seen it. But it's interesting that apply an audio effect to the sound which replaces the bass effect when the sound is muffled by intervening walls. Sound can only be muffled if it is not constrained by walls. So if I turn that on and then say constrained by walls, oh, let's try this. I think I understand. So this is making it so that you're saying the sound can go through the walls, but you're applying a muffled effect when it goes through the walls. That's why it's doing that. So if I hit update, you can actually hear the people right now, very faint, but they are muffled. If I go to Joseph here, you can hear it's definitely muffled, and if I open the door, now it's not muffled anymore. Okay, so that does actually make sense. If I set it to if I set it constrained by walls, the walls are going to block. There will be no muffling because sound is not allowed through that wall at all. If I set not constrained by walls and then I set the muffled type, then we actually are able to hear muffling because sound is allowed to go through the walls, but when it goes through a wall, it has this muffled effect applied to it. So as you can hear, let's see. So there's the low pass filter. There's the high pass filter. That even sounds less muffled. In fact, that doesn't sound muffled at all to me. It's moving right against the door, so it's... Alright, let's try the reverb. This will kind of give it an echo. Now it sounds like you're like in a hall. So we can apply, so what is shown here is we can apply just to the general sound, we can apply those sound effects. But if we do the muffled, and it seems like the only muffled one you'd ever really want would be the low pass filter, because that actually makes it sound like it's being muffled. Everything else kind of sounds normal. So if I do that, now we can hear it's muffled, and what we can do then, there goes another Discord thing, we can actually set it so when we're in just the base of the actual, sound, it will sound like it's in a hall. So if we go back here, it's muffled, and now there's that slight echo on them. So that's what that's doing. Sorry I didn't have that quite straight before. I kind of knew it. I was just blinking on it. So those are kind of your different options for sound. Wow, we're only 15 minutes. That's a new one for us to actually finish around the actual times I want to finish. So anyway, that is kind of your sounds and how they work, your sound object. We don't have enough time to actually go into region controls. We'll definitely do that in the next one. But one thing I wanted to show really quick is, depending on how you have your stuff set, and I'm going to turn that off, when you're putting lights, you might get really bright artifacts at the center of the light, and I just want to show you maybe how you can get rid of that. So if we come in here, when we set up this light, we had the default, the bright actually was set to like, I think it was 4 or even 5. And you'll see when I do that, the brightness level is only 5. We'll leave the dimness where it is, but let's see if that did what I want. So you'll notice we have just this tiny little dot here, and sometimes that's really bright. I've actually already changed the other part of it. Let me just show you what that is. So the default for your lights is the color intensity is defaulted at 5.5 actually. And if you look at this, you'll see that you kind of get this really bright tiny dot here, but it's not really looking like, here's our 5 foot here. I think even more is if this part is set lower than 5, like if I set it to 3, we can really get, we can get that dot really bright. So what we just undid is kind of what we want to not, we want to make sure we have. One of the first things is, remember, a square is 5 feet. So you probably want this at least, 5 or 10 feet minimum to kind of spread out that light. And then your dim, of course, will be on top of that, an additional 30. The other thing I wanted to point out with the intensity is we can make that almost go completely away. If we click on that now and then go here, you'll see that it's still that bright light right there. If we change the intensity, it'll actually go down. But if we change it too much, we actually lose the red hue that we had here. So here you can see we have our intensity at 0.5. If I hit update and we go look at it, now we don't have that little thing at all, but the color intensity is also making it so we don't actually see the color outside. So we're kind of having, this is an example of 0.1. You can see, you could imagine there's a little door here and it's shining a little bit, but there's no red hue to all of this, right? So play with that, see where you like it. I usually around 2 or something, if we kind of let off, we can see, there's 2.5-ish right there. We kind of still have our red hue. And if we look, this dot isn't as pronounced as it can be. So that's just a quick little thing I wanted to point out with lights. Sometimes you might get a very focused dot, and that's kind of how you can get rid of it. You can also go play with the actual how that dot or how that light is, its luminosity, attenuation. I'm not going to get into that in this episode, but that's other things you can actually do, is kind of play with those to make them look more realistic. Usually I'm okay if it has kind of a little-ish dot there, kind of like this one there, that. Just not that it looks like this extremely brilliantly bright dot and then all the light after it is not very bright. So I think that is where we're going to end this episode. I don't think I know I didn't sneeze. I don't think I sniffed. Hopefully I didn't. If I did, once again, I apologize. I'm pretty sick. I almost didn't even get this episode out this week because normally when I record is Saturday, and I was extremely not sounding good at all. Today is actually Tuesday, and tomorrow this episode gets uploaded or gets released. So you can see I'm right up against the wire. But anyway, enough of that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a thumbs up down below. If you learned something new, thumbs up down below. It means the world to me. Aside from that, comment, like, subscribe, click that little notification bell, tell other people about my channel, join my Discord. What is all the other stuff I usually say? I think that's about it. Yeah, that's it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.